Another Nervotics Q&A, where we're the proud leaders of direct current education, sharing experiences from athletes, doctors, and other professionals worldwide. And today's conversation is hosted by our CEO, Matt Dell, who continues to lead the charge in getting this therapy everywhere. Matt, how you doing?
Jake, I'm doing fantastic.
Always good to see you.
I could tell you must have lifted this morning. You got some guns right now.
Yeah, it's the shirt's working today.
It's working for you. That's why my camera's got to be here, because I don't have those kind of guns. But
or you just don't want to show off. That's more
please.
impressive.
I'm an old man, but all good. I'm excited. This is the first time. I think this might be our first historic second interview with an athlete that has that we've had on, and this is going to age us already. Probably a year ago, maybe even longer.
I think you're right. I think it was about a year ago we've had him on. Yeah.
So I'm excited, and let's bring him on. Let's do a little intro for our audience, and let's dive right in.
Yeah, 100%. I think you guys are in for a treat. If you've seen him before, you know his career has progressed, and we're going to play a quick video so you can just kind of refresh your memory of who we're going to bring on stage. Every athlete faces the moment when comfort ends and the grind begins, when talk fades and work speaks. He's walked that line. From college lights to foreign fields, new country, same mission. Prove it. Again. The pressure, he wears it. The doubt, he fuels it. Because greatness doesn't come from noise. It grows in silence, in lonely workouts. Every rep, every throw, every adjustment, forged with precision, built with intention, and powered by Nervotics. This isn't just training, it's evolution, not rehab, rebuild, not potential, performance, because he's not chasing the next level. He's creating it. This is Jameson Wang.
Another great intro, Jake.
Thank you. Welcome back, Jameson.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah,
it's good to have you back on.
I'm excited to dive in, because this is new and exciting for us to have a guest on for a second time. So just to kind of refresh, tell our listeners and audience a little bit about your journey, because I think was it Cornell you were a quarterback,
yes,
and now. Yeah, tell us.
So basically, out of high school, I committed to the United States Air Force Academy. So I ended up going to the Air Force Academy for a year. I did the prep school there. Figured out it wasn't for me, and then I ended up transferring to Cornell University as a true freshman. Went in split time as a freshman, and then ended up earning the starting role my sophomore year. Started for sophomore year, junior year, senior year. Had a blessed career with staying healthy, injury free. Started 30 consecutive games, which is a school record, and then ended up entering the draft after my senior year. Got a rookie minicamp invite from the Los Angeles Chargers. So I worked out with them for around four days. Ended up not getting anything out of it, and the next thing I knew, I get a call from Germany to go out and play for the Frankfurt Galaxy. They were already in mid-season. They already played half their season, and they wanted to make a switch at the quarterback position, and it was perfect timing. I just got out with the Chargers, didn't really have anything going on, and I took the opportunity. I got a call on a Thursday and flew out on a Sunday. So that's kind of been my latest journey. Yeah.
That's great. So I got to ask, because this world of getting into the NFL is tough. We just had a quarterback on from the Saints, and he kind of broke it down. There's very, very, very few positions available in the NFL for quarterbacks, and it is the
for
number
sure.
one position. So, I have to ask, please share with us. This is new to me, Frankfurt Galaxy, because there's so many avenues. I mean, most of our listeners have heard of the CFL, but to tell our listeners and myself for the first time what's going on in Europe and how football's catching on. I've got to believe the NFL is doing so much to market over in London and games in Germany and everything. So please share so you can educate myself and our listeners on what's really happening in European football.
Yeah, for sure. So there's been a German football league that's been going around for a long time. That's been going for like 20 plus years now. And what happened in 2021, right after COVID, instead of having just a German football league, they made what they call the ELF, which is the European League of Football. And this consists of mainly German teams, but there's also teams in Spain, Paris, Prague, Austria, and there's a team in Hungary also. So basically, they, instead of just having football in Germany, they're like, let's combine a league where all the best talent in Europe plays each other. So this was created in 2021, and I think they started off with maybe 10 to 12 teams, but this past season there were 16 teams. And if for people who know about NFL Europe, that happened in the early 2000s, Frankfurt Galaxy was actually one of those teams in NFL Europe that there was like, I think 4 to 6 teams. Like there was an Amsterdam team, Rhine Fire, which is still in this league as well, was another team. So these are just teams that NFL Europe created that ended up still continuing in a different league and now came back to this European League of Football. So it's been going on since 2021. And they definitely have built a brand for themselves. I knew about it in the draft process because I had some friends who played in it. And actually one of my teammates at Cornell, he ended up grad transferring to Akron and then made his way out to Europe as well. We didn't get to play against each other, but he was on the Poland team, so I knew a good amount of people who played in it, and it's a good opportunity to go out there and be the guy and get some good film and hopefully try and get back to the States. So
love it. So is the NFL? Let me ask you some questions. Did the NFL, were they the instigators of that league in Europe, trying to kind of grow their footprint?
I wouldn't say they were instigators, but NFL Europe was basically a development league in the early 2000s for NFL teams to scout players that they're NFL caliber players. They were just playing in Europe at the time. Okay. There was no UFL like there is now. So they use this league to scout guys and bring them up to the practice squad or bring them up to the active roster. But this league itself, I don't think the NFL has any they didn't start it. They don't have any stake.
No financial interest. Yeah. No. So okay.
Yeah.
And let me ask. I mean, the questions that I'm sure our listeners are going to want to ask is, tell us the makeup of the players. Is it primarily American players? Are European kids starting to play football and they're growing in? Are we going to see starting to see an influx of European players come into collegiate level, pro level? I know that, as a season ticket holder for the Bears, one of our best players is a punter from Australia, played at Iowa. So it's sad that I have to say he's a punter, but he's a stud. And you're starting to see more and more Canadians and Europeans. Are we going to start seeing that over time, or share?
Yeah, for sure. Football is definitely growing outside of America, which is a really good sign for the game. So basically the makeup of the teams are very interesting. So majority of the team is from the country that the team is located in. So for example, my team is in Frankfurt, Germany. So basically majority of the team are Germans. They're from Germany. Then they call them homegrowns. And then you're allowed to bring in 4 Americans, 2 on offense, 2 on defense. So most of the time, it's a quarterback and a receiver on offense to move the ball. And on defense, it's 2 defensive backs to stop that. So that's kind of the makeup of the Americans. And then there's 6 what they call European imports, which are from any other country besides the country that your team is in. So it could be Canadian. It could be, in my case, we had a French receiver. We had a French linebacker. We had a Norwegian offensive lineman, and we had a lineman from the UK. So, and then the other 2 was a running back from Austria, and then a linebacker from the UK as well. So that's kind of like the makeup of the team. Those were all, we were called imports because we're not from Germany. And so you have 4 Americans, 6 Europeans, and you strategically try and space them out, or like fill the needs that you don't have in the homegrown talent from the country that the team is in. And then you kind of build around that, and then you make the offense around your best weapons. You're trying to find mismatches. It's a little different than regular football because you're essentially trying to find mismatches with the receivers and running backs, saying, who can we get in the best position to make a play? So, for example, if they're going to double the American receiver, if I have a European receiver, he's going to be one-on-one with the European, and we value that matchup instead of going after my American receiver on 2 American DBs. But for whatever reason, they leave the American American receiver one-on-one with the American DB. Now we like that matchup, So it's kind of like the game within the game. So It's like, how can we get our playmakers the ball in the most effective way possible?
I love it. Now, what about coaches? Are they homegrown coaches?
So the head coach is normally American. But the assistant coaches were homegrown. So we had German coaches on staff, but like the head coach OCDC is normally from America.
Okay. And who is your head coach? And
so my head coach last year was his name was Coach Bart Andrus. He was most recently a USFL coach for the Philadelphia Stars, but he worked with the Titans a lot in the early 2000s. He's really close with Coach Jeff Fisher, so he was the quarterback coach in Tennessee early on.
Nice.
Okay, cool. What a great! I mean, I see this is all brand new, so it is. So they're basically trying to get the influence of the Americans, both as players and coaches, to kind of get those homegrowns educated a little bit.
No, for sure. And it's really helpful because they all speak English. So when I went over there, I thought there was going to be a language barrier, how am I going to communicate? But in Germany, everyone takes English starting in like 3rd grade all the way through college. So I get over there, everyone speaks English. They're like, well, if you don't know English, you can't learn football because everything's taught in English. So it's like you're either going to learn it or you're not. So it's taken really serious out there, which I appreciated while being out there. But no, it was really cool being able to give more knowledge and wisdom to the guys that they really want to learn football, and they do this for a living. Like some guys skip college to play football in Europe, and because the college football isn't as advanced as like the professional leagues, So, yeah.
Interesting. And how is it funded? I mean, do they have fans? You guys have games? They have.
Yeah, I mean, there was more fans at my games in Frankfurt than I had at Cornell.
Nice.
They would pack out. It's really cool because we play in like these soccer stadiums, not like the big soccer stadiums, but there's like lower level league soccer stadiums that we play in that fit 10 to 15K. And it's packed out, sold out, and it gets pretty loud in there. So it was definitely a really cool experience. The fans love it. They really understand football. But like you were saying, the NFL has really been pushing games in Europe, specifically Germany, too. Like also Michigan's first game next year, their season opener, they're going to open up in Frankfurt at the big soccer stadium out there. So that holds 65K, and it's going to be packed because when a game happens in Germany, people from all over Germany come in for it because there are a bunch of American football fans out there, and they understand it, and it's definitely a really cool environment.
Yeah, I love it because it's like, growing up, it was you're battling, Americans always battled soccer, their football, whatever you want to call it. And to hear this is eye-opening to me because it's so different. but to know that that the game, which I love, is starting to take over European. I always question why the NFL is, trying to gravitate out there with all these games. I mean, it's great for fans because it just gives you an excuse to go fly and watch your Bears or your team in London or wherever. And it's just an excuse to get over there and do something and cool and check out a different country. But from a player's perspective, so I got to ask, tell us a little bit of well, I've got so many questions now because you're intriguing me. This is great. The first is, okay, give us that wow moment. I can see the excitement when you're talking about, 10, 15,000 packed, cheering, crazy people, fans, and you're the guy. I mean, the quarterback is the guy. Tell us that first exposure to a game where all of a sudden you went, wow, this is legit. I'm fired up. Look at these fans are nuts.
Yeah, so it was right when I flew in. So I flew in on a Monday. So I left LA on a Sunday and got to Germany Monday morning. And I had to get ready to play on Saturday. So I had like 5-day turnaround. So I was still pretty jet lagged, to be honest. For some reason, from the time change from LA to European time was really hard for me. I struggled that week sleeping. And then the practice schedule is also messed up because most of the guys have jobs and then come to practice after their job. So we don't start meetings till 7, and then we didn't really get off the field until 11:30 p.m. So it was definitely different in that aspect. Normally I'm used to meetings in the morning, practice in the morning, and then you go to class, right? But this was you're kind of waiting around until 7 p.m., then it starts, and then you finish at 11:30 p.m., and then you're hungry, you're trying to find dinner, So I make it through the week, and then we played on a Saturday night that week, and I was getting ready for the game, and the stand started packing in, and then the coolest part is just like in the NFL, they'll announce the starters for the game before the game, and you run out the tunnel, and they have all these smoke and stuff. And I ran out, saw the crowd, and it's bigger than anything I played in college. So
wow, that's so cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I got to ask. I mean, you're flying over, so you have absolutely no idea what the hell you're going into. There's no way you can. And I got to believe that they send you. The playbook. Were you studying it on the way over? Was it pretty consistent?
Yeah. So I got in touch with the head coach a few days before I flew out. So I was already going over plays with him, sending him what I liked, just because it is a tough transition going and playing with guys you've never played with in 5 days.
Right.
But basically, I tried to implement as much stuff that I was comfortable with as possible, just stuff that I did at Cornell or previously that I felt really comfortable running and that I didn't need too much practice on. So we got a lot of stuff in that I was really comfortable with, and then it was really just the receivers and all the skill position. We met a good amount that first week I was there just to be on the same page on certain routes and the timing that I was expecting from them. And it wasn't perfect that first game, but it definitely didn't look sloppy. We went out there, we looked crisp. I might have missed a few balls here and there, but it didn't look like we were unorganized, which was really good. So it took a lot of just communication from me to the receivers, what I expected their routes to look like and where I expected them to end up in certain situations. So just spending the time with them and getting extra work with them after practice really helped. And we ended up having a really good end of the season. The game that I came in, we had a 0.03% chance of making the playoffs. And by the last game, last regular season game, we were playing for a playoff spot. It was a win and in game. And we ended up losing that game, unfortunately. But to turn the faith of the team around, it was kind of going downhill. And me and 2 other Americans came in at the same time to kind of bring some momentum back to the team and bring some positive energy back to the team. And we won 3 out of 4 games. And then the last game, all we had to do was win to make the playoffs, and we ended up coming short a little, but it was a really good experience, really fun. So.
Who were those other couple Americans that came with you?
Yeah, so I had a receiver that played at University of Albany. He had a stint with the Jags in 2024. He did training camp with them all the way through, played all 3 preseason games. And then, unfortunately, he got cut on the last day before they had to finalize the roster. But he also had a stint in Canada as well. He did camp in Canada and then came over. And the other guy that came over was a defensive back that played at UNLV. He was a game changer too because he's from LA, so we were pretty close. And he's small, but he's really fast. He runs legit 4.3. So we put him at punt returner and kick returner, and literally no one could tackle him. It was pretty fun to watch. So
I was gonna say it's probably lightning in that league.
Yeah, no, it's lightning. So
yeah, that's so cool. Wow, this is awesome. What an insight to that whole world. And obviously, I've got to jump into, we came to know you through, and refresh my memory because I'm old and I can't remember. And it's been a couple of years since we interviewed you, but I know that you got involved with Direct Current in college. And I don't know if it was for performance or recovery or injury or a combination of all 3, but share with our listeners a little bit about how you even got to know Nervotics and Direct Current.
Yeah, so I got to know Nervotics and Direct Current through Jeff Emery. He showed me the product, and he was telling me all the benefits about it. And like you said, it was all 3. It had nothing. It wasn't just one area that I was trying to focus on. It was really everything to help me as an athlete compete and perform at a high level. So I think I started in college while I was at Cornell. I don't remember if it was my freshman or sophomore year, but Jeff's actually my neighbor back home. So and he's so kind and generous and giving his time to train athletes. He just loves giving back, and that's something that I'm really appreciative about. And I would literally just walk over to his house in the morning every morning, hook up. He has the RX, hook up the RX to my body, whatever I was focusing on. Generally, it's lower body because I really think as a quarterback, throwing starts from the ground up, and to have a strong lower half, I didn't want to keep squatting heavy weights or putting a bunch of weight on my back just to squat. And Jeff showed me a squat workout with the RX hooked up to my glute and my hamstring. We would set the pulse one way, go all the way up to 100, and then we take a break, reverse the pulse, and then go up to as much as I could. I couldn't go up to 100 on that one, but as much as I could. And over time, I definitely felt my legs getting way stronger. There was definitely more mass in my legs as well. My legs were definitely a little thicker. And the great part about this was I wasn't putting any weight on my back. There was no barbell. There was no anything to kind of mess up my back. It was all current, right? So it was. I started doing this, and I've noticed big difference not only in my throwing but also my running as well. I was a little more powerful getting out, and obviously too when I was in season as well at Cornell and in Frankfurt, I had the PRS. So anything I needed to do recovery-wise, I didn't have to go into the training room and wait to be hooked up to the stem machine. I had it at home, So okay. I would sleep with it on, and what's the mode?
Blood flow.
Yeah, blood flow. I would sleep with blood flow on, and I had access to when I had to go to class, I'd hook it up. If I had an injury that week that I just needed to, or bump or bruise that I was attending to, I just hook it up in class. People are looking at me funny because I'm walking around with a stem machine in class, but I'm don't worry about it. I'm just here listening, just don't. But yeah, so I literally walk around with with it to class on. And then I also brought it to Germany because in Germany, we definitely didn't have the resources like we did in college for like training table or getting taped and stuff. So I actually had like a pretty bad contusion on my thigh. I got hit like right on the side of my thigh that my thigh pad didn't cover. So it was like helmet to bone, and that one actually really hurt a lot. But I had the PRS, and fortunately we had a bye week after that. So I hooked it up. I was basically using it all day, putting on blood flow when I didn't have the pulse on, and it made me come back way faster than I think I would have came back regularly, because I literally could not walk the next day, and by the next week I was already practicing. So very, very grateful for the technology you guys have. I've been using it for a while now, and still continue to use it.
Yeah, what a great story. I think you packed it up a lot in there, and I think the performance and the strength side, I may have to ask Jake to show his guns off a little bit, because he went an entire year without lifting a weight.
Yep.
And he increased his size and bulk, and we've had. Oh, look at this! I love it.
There was a little. I'm sorry, Matt. There was a little premature.
My legs got like that too.
I was kind of holding it before, and I messed up the tech. But this is another football player. To Jameson's point of what it can do with just strength training, and same concept, Jameson, is that he wanted to keep the pressure off his joints, and he's much older than you. He's kind of in the twilight of his career, but he claims that this is kind of helped in the last couple of years, and he's playing phenomenally. But as you can see, that's the muscle development. No weights for that season. It was all this technology.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And to that point, Jake, I mean, we've had so many power lifters, bodybuilders, professional strength, that have sworn by the direct current, because you're not putting all that pressure and on your joints, and you're still getting the contractions. I do have to say, when you said, to be able to do those squats at 100, you are a beast. I'm not going to lie.
It definitely took me a minute.
Not common.
It didn't just happen, but
I know.
I went to Jeff's. I was consistently going, and by the time I kept going a lot, 100 was easy, But
wow,
it definitely took time to build up. It's not easy the first time you do it, So
no, I'm sure. It's like anything, right? You're working through it. You're strengthening. You're refreshing that neurological connection, and you're actually strengthening blood flow, and then you can work through stuff that's allowing you to kind of increase that intensity. But that's awesome. I mean, what a great story. What a great, to hear how you're as knowledgeable as anybody, because you've been using it for so long, from the, recovery aspect, from the performance side, and then also just from the overall, just utilization of direct current, and the ability to take it on the road is amazing. I mean, we've got so many guys. We've just announced a new product, a DX500, which is as strong as the RX, but it's over the counter, so it's portable. And I mean, all these NFL guys that are, that go on road trips and they're carrying the RX, now they're going to be loving life, baseball, all the pro athletes. And realistically, what's nice about this technology is, we're doing everything we can to educate weekend warriors that this technology is available, because although you're trying to make the league and you're trying to make a living, which means your body, everything you do is an asset, right? Everything you're doing is, focused on your future. Weekend warriors, they want a quality of life. They want to be able to, play pickle or play golf or, walk or, play with the grandkids, whatever the case may be. High school athletes, college, there's a place and a spot for direct current. And I think, Jake, this is the first time I'm going to admit this. We used to say it's the best kept secret. It's really not a secret anymore. It's starting to become a little more mainstream.
Yeah.
2 years ago, probably, when we did this first interview and you start talking, direct current, you're going to get a lot of glazed eyes, because it's like, what are you talking about? Oh, it's like a TENS unit. Now the whole world's starting to, learn and not even think about it. They start understanding direct current is something legit. It's real. It's been around for 20 years. How can I get it? So what a great story. So now you're back in the States and
Yes, sir. Back in the States. Yep.
Do you go back or did you sign a contract?
Yeah, so I'm in contract talks right now. But their season is training camp starts in April, and then games start mid to late May, and then the season finishes around mid-August, and then playoffs start right after that. So I made it to like mid-August. I think I got back on August 20th or something around that time. But I was out there for like 7-8 weeks, so it was definitely a really fun experience.
And so, asking this is, for people that are listening, what is that journey look like? I mean, now you've got some pretty good tape, right? Obviously, and you're throwing that to other teams. I'm assuming, anybody and everybody, right? CFL, USFL, what are all the possibilities for?
So realistically, the next jump that I'm trying to make is from Europe back to North America, whether it's UFL or CFL. So that's the most realistic jump. You're not going to jump from Europe to NFL. That's not realistic. But for example, the leading receiver who was American last year in the league, he led the league in receptions, yards, and touchdowns for receivers. He just signed a UFL contract. So you definitely can make it back to America from Europe. It's definitely hard. You definitely have to have a really good season, but it's definitely possible. So there's a player on I think he's on the Cowboys now. It's his last name's Turpin. I forgot his first name, but he played in Europe in 2021, made it to the USFL in 2022, and then made it to the NFL in 2023. So there are guys who have played in Europe who are in the NFL, but obviously that's really hard. But especially with quarterback too, just the numbers at quarterback and the opportunities are so limited and so scarce. But the most realistic jump I could see, if there was one to happen, is from Europe to either Canada or the UFL.
That's so cool. Yeah. And you're just a young guy, so you've got a lot of learning and a lot of, and I'm amazed, and this is just my opinion. It's like, as a big, follower of the NFL, it is, I love those stories of these undrafted, free agents. And it goes to show you that at the end of the day, these NFL teams and coaches, they could care less if you were the number one guy at, Michigan or Alabama. Yeah. That means nothing. It's like, who's going to continue the progress of conditioning and working out and learning the game and really taking the craft. And I wouldn't be surprised one day if, you kind of make that journey and obviously, Cornell, I think, I can't spell Cornell, but I think that's a pretty good school. You have to be educated. You have to know how to learn and, read and write and all that stuff. So you're obviously a very smart kid, a great athlete. And it sounds like you're doing all the right things, but we're so glad that we're a part of that journey. How, for our listeners and our watchers, are you on social media? Is there a way that people can follow your career as you?
Yeah. So my Instagram is at QBJman. So right there. Yep. Popping up. Yep. Definitely can follow me there. And then just look out for European football next spring. They don't like to compete with football in the States, so that's why their season is in the summer. Kind of gives people in America something to watch if they care about anything in Europe going on. But yeah, definitely. Or if you, for whatever reason you're in Europe in the summer, come catch a game. It's an amazing vibe. The culture there, the football culture is definitely growing, and just really excited to continue my career in playing and the opportunity I have to keep playing in Europe. So,
Jameson, where is this televised?
It's on. There's a streaming platform called DAZN. It's spelled DAZN. Okay. And there's like a streaming. They have a streaming contract with the league, so all the games are on that streaming platform, and it's cool because also in Europe, it's the same format as the NFL. Like they have the Sunday games. There's 2 time slots. It's the 1 p.m. and then the 4:25. So you'll have 2 national televised games in Europe each week too. It's really cool. People said they saw me on TV like in Germany, so it's really fun, you know.
I'll start checking it out. I really got into the CFL when we had a player there, a couple players now that that use our devices in the CFL. Very exciting stuff there. So I'm excited. It's DZN.
DAZN.
DAZN.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
So I'm going to be following you for sure. Like I'm going to be stalking you because I want to live vicariously through you. So
and he does. So be careful. He does stalk.
You know that you've got you educate myself and anybody else that's going to start following you after listening to this, so that they can stream it and check it out, because now I've got a vested interest in watching you play, and really excited. Can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day to visit with us today and update us. Right, this is our first, making history of our second interview that we've ever had in Nervotics history. So thank you for that.
No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
It's good to see you again. Appreciate it.
Yes,
Please
sir.
stick around. We'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, we're just going to shut it down, but yeah, stick around for a minute and
Sounds good.
thanks.
I got to ask you another question. Are these your legs or were these the football player legs? Because I know you used it too.
You know what? I like the legs on the right. Those look a little bit more like me, after I was biking a lot. But
Yeah, I could see
now
that.
my legs probably look a little more similar to the ones on the left.
Join the club on that.
Wow, how cool is this? That was so informative. Love to hear, his journey.
Yeah.
And always intrigued with what's happening outside. I mean, we're so programmed with NFL and college football. It's another journey to hear about the CFL and UFL and European football. And,
What's exciting as well is, we got to see some of his career, in college, and to see that progression to go from college and now he's in the European League. And, he's young, he's got a lot of passion. I saw that with the videos. So it's exciting to see where that next level is for Jameson.
Yeah. Well, and luckily for him, he's had a neighbor that, helped him. He's actually more educated than most of the pros in terms of what he's doing, how he's, recovering, how he's, kind of helping his craft. And I think Direct Current it's a game changer, whether you're a high school athlete, college athlete, pro athlete, or a weekend warrior just trying to get to your next pickleball match. I love it.
I do too. I think this about wraps it up. You got anything else to add, Matt?
I think that's it. Other than, next time we're going to have to, cut the sleeves off of that shirt so you can show off your guns.
You're being too kind. But it's funny you do bring it up, our new technology. I have been using the DX500, much easier to go to the gym. So maybe that's the secret. I don't know. The last couple of weeks I've been bringing it in. So
it's a little more portable for sure. So I love it.
More portable. It's more discreet. I just keep it in my pocket, sometimes in my backpack, and run it through that way. It almost looks like headphones coming out of the backpack, and then I'll place on my chest or legs or something like that. Yeah, so it's been very, very helpful.
You need to put a sign out because, when they see those guns and seeing you lifting at the gym, they're going to want to know how you get there, especially when you only have 10-pound weights on each side.
Yeah, it probably looks weird to most people. I've had some questions come up recently, and I haven't even been trying yet. I'm not even pushing it yet. So once we get our fanny pack, where we could kind of strap it in a lot easier, I think that'll be the moment I start showing it off a little bit.
That'll be good. We're working on it.
Yeah, so. I can't wait.
Well, awesome. Jake, always a pleasure. Great Q&A, and appreciate setting it up, and what a great intro for what an incredible guest we just had. So
I completely agree. Always great to see you too as well, Matt.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks, everybody.
Take care, everyone. If you have any questions regarding this technology, make sure you check us out at nervotics.com, NERVEOTX.com. Thank you, everybody, for joining in.